Ever wondered what secret thoughts your man is harboring, that he's too afraid to share? We're about to embark on an enlightening journey to explore this intriguing topic. Today, we'll offer insights into those burning questions you often have about your man yet hesitate to ask, from his thoughts about his ex, to whether he compares you to other women, and even his true feelings about your friends. So, get ready for an intriguing exploration. Stay tuned as we unravel these mysteries together. Scene script. First on our list, the age-old question, does he think about his ex? Now this is a question that has woven itself into the fabric of many relationships, sparking curiosity, and sometimes insecurity. But before we let our minds wander into the labyrinth of possibilities, let's take a moment to understand the human mind. It's a complex storage system, holding on to memories both significant and trivial. So yes, it's quite possible that your man may think about his ex, but not necessarily in the way you might assume. Consider this. We all have a past. Memories, experiences, relationships. They're like chapters in the book of our lives. Some chapters are filled with joy, others with lessons learned the hard way. It's only natural to occasionally flip back and revisit these chapters, including past relationships. So if he does think about his ex, it doesn't automatically mean he harbors lingering feelings or wishes to rekindle the relationship. Just like you, he might merely be reflecting on his past, understanding his growth, or even appreciating the lessons learned from that relationship. But here's something important to remember. A memory is just a memory. It's a moment frozen in time, a reflection of who he was, not who he is. If he's with you now, it's because he chooses to be, because he sees a future with you. His past experiences, including his past relationships, have contributed to shaping him into the man he is today, the man you love. So rather than letting this question gnaw at your peace, embrace the reality that we all come with a past. It's what makes us human. It's what makes us unique. It's what gives us depth. And remember, his past relationships aren't a threat to you. They're just a part of his journey that has led him to you. Remember, his past has helped shape the man you love today. Scene script. Next up, a concern many women secretly harbor. Does he compare me to other women? It's a valid concern, and let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Comparison in general is a natural human tendency. It's how we make sense of the world around us. So yes, it's likely that at some point, he has compared you to other women. But before you let that thought spiral, let's put it into perspective. Firstly, comparison does not automatically imply dissatisfaction or a desire for change. Think about it. When you compare a new book to your favorite novel, it doesn't mean you want to rewrite the new one, does it? Similarly, when he compares, it doesn't mean he wants to change you. It's simply a way of understanding and appreciating differences. Secondly, remember that every individual is unique, and that includes you. You're not just a collection of traits that can be compared and contrasted. You're a whole person with experiences, memories, quirks, and qualities that make you, well, you. And that's who he's with, the whole, unique you. So if he's comparing, it's not about wanting to swap one trait for another. It's about understanding you better, and appreciating all the things that make you different from anyone else he's known. It's also important to remember that while he may make comparisons, you're not in competition with anyone. You're not vying for a title or trying to outdo someone else, you're simply being yourself, and that's exactly who he chose to be with. Finally, let's talk about confidence. Confidence is attractive, and self-assuredness can often put these concerns to rest. Knowing yourself, loving yourself, and being proud of who you are can change the way you perceive these comparisons. It can help you see them not as judgments, but as affirmations of your uniqueness. So, does he compare you to other women? Maybe. But remember, comparison is not a measure of worth, and you are not defined by how you stack up against others. Your uniqueness is your charm. Never forget that. Moving on. How does he really feel about my friends? This is a question that may have crossed your mind more than once. After all, our friends are an extension of who we are, and their approval often means a lot to us. But what happens when our partners meet our friends? What do they really think? The truth is, the dynamics between your partner and your friends can vary greatly. It's a fascinating intersection of different personalities, backgrounds, and relationships. He might really get along with some of your friends, finding common ground in shared interests or experiences. They might engage in lively conversations, laugh at the same jokes, or even become friends themselves. On the other hand, there might be some friends he doesn't quite click with. Maybe their personalities just don't mesh, or perhaps they have differing opinions that clash. And that's perfectly okay. Just as you might not get along with every single one of his friends, he might not connect with all of yours. The important thing to remember here is that everyone is unique, with different personalities and compatibility levels. The key is open communication. If he's comfortable around your friends, that's great. It can strengthen your relationship and create a wider support network. If he's not, it's crucial to talk about it. Understand his perspective, his reservations, and his feelings. Maybe there's a misunderstanding that can be cleared up, or perhaps it's just a matter of accepting that not everyone will become best friends. Remember, it's not a competition. His relationship with your friends doesn't have to mirror yours. He doesn't have to adore them as you do, just as you don't have to love all his friends. What truly matters is the respect and understanding he shows for the people who are important in your life. Value his honesty, and remember that he's with you, not your friends. Ever wondered, is he really listening when I talk? It's a question that's probably crossed your mind more than once. You're sharing your thoughts, your day, or maybe even your dreams, and there he is, seemingly distant or distracted. But does that really mean he's not listening? Well, not necessarily. You see, men and women process information differently. While women tend to be more expressive and detailed in their communication, men often lean towards being more focused and concise. This doesn't mean one way is better than the other, they're just different styles. And understanding these differences can help bridge the communication gap. When you're talking, he may not give the immediate feedback you're expecting. He might not nod along to every point or interject with affirmations, but that doesn't mean he's not taking in what you're saying. Men often prefer to listen and process information before responding. This can make them seem distant or unresponsive, but in reality, it's their way of showing respect to what you're saying by giving it thoughtful consideration. Of course, this doesn't excuse genuine disinterest or disregard. If he's consistently not engaging or responding to what you're saying, it might be worth having a conversation about it. Communication is a two-way street after all. However, it's also important to remember that everyone has their off days. There might be times when he's preoccupied with work stress or personal issues. These instances don't necessarily reflect his overall attitude towards your conversations. So, is he really listening when you talk? More often than not, yes. He might be processing your words differently, but that doesn't mean he's not paying attention. The key is in the response. It's not about the immediate feedback, but the understanding and response that comes after. Remember, it's not about how much he hears, but how much he understands and responds. Finally, we've reached the end of our intriguing journey. We've taken a deep dive into the enigmatic minds of men, answering some of the questions that women often ponder yet hesitate to ask their partners. We first addressed the question about whether he thinks about his ex. Remember, it's perfectly natural for past relationships to cross one's mind occasionally, but it doesn't mean there's an underlying longing or regret. Next, we explored if he compares you to other women. The important takeaway here is that everyone is unique, and it's these differences that make us who we are. Comparisons are not an indication of an individual's worth. We then delved into his feelings about your friends. It's crucial to understand that he doesn't need to adore every single one of your friends, just as you may not love all of his. Mutual respect is what matters most. Lastly, we discussed whether he's genuinely listening when you talk. The truth is, men and women often communicate differently. Just because he doesn't respond in the way you expect, it doesn't mean he isn't listening or doesn't care. Throughout this journey, one concept has remained clear. Open communication is the key to understanding each other better. It's through sharing our thoughts, fears, and desires that we can build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. Remember, the secret to any successful relationship is communication, understanding, and love.